All right, so get this.
Hmm.
Tesla had their We Robot event,
Yeah.
right? But the biggest mystery
Mm.
might be what they didn't announce.
Yeah.
We're talking about the rumored Model 2,
Right.
the one that was supposed to make Tesla ownership like a reality
Yeah.
for like the rest of us.
For us regular folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So while everyone's busy dissecting, robot reveals and robo-taxis,
Right.
we're kicking off this deep dive with a question. Did Tesla just quietly scrap their plans?
It's
It's
certainly
a budget-friendly car?
It's certainly the elephant in the room, isn't it?
Right.
And the lack of any mention of a Model 2 has sparked a ton of speculation.
Yeah.
To understand why this is such a head-scratcher, we need to rewind a bit.
Okay.
As you know, Tesla's built its brand on luxury EVs.
Right.
But capturing a larger chunk of the market means appealing to a much wider price point.
Exactly. Not everyone can just drop 6 figures on a car no matter how cool the autopilot is.
Right.
So what clues can we gather from the event itself?
Well, they went all in on their Robotaxi ambitions with this whole Cybercab thing.
Okay.
Imagine this. You open your app in 2026,
Okay.
hail a ride,
Yeah.
and a driverless Tesla pulls up.
Wow.
At least that's their goal, pending regulatory approval on their self-driving tech.
Okay.
Elon Musk claims they'll be ready to roll out in California and Texas by next year,
Wow.
starting with the Model 3 and Model Y.
Hold on. 2026?
Huh.
That feels awfully soon for robot taxis to be picking us up from brunch.
Yeah.
And we're talking level 4 autonomy here, right?
Yeah.
As in the car can basically drive itself.
In most situations.
In most situations without any human intervention.
And that's a whole other can of worms.
Right.
We're talking incredibly complex technology.
Yeah.
A mix of sensors, artificial intelligence, and real-time decision-making. Tesla's relying heavily on their vision-based system,
Okay.
which uses cameras to perceive the environment,
Right.
rather than the more expensive LiDAR technology some competitors favor.
Interesting. Okay, so back to those investors for a second.
Yeah.
Wall Street didn't seem too thrilled
Yeah.
with Tesla's stock taking an 8% hit after the event.
Right.
You'd think news of robotaxis would have them popping champagne.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The market's reaction might be less about skepticism towards robotaxis in general
Okay.
and more about Tesla's history.
Okay.
They've got a bit of a reputation for, shall we say,
Yeah.
over-promising and under-delivering.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember those Cybertruck pre-orders from what feels like a lifetime ago?
Oh, how could we forget? The unbreakable windows,
Mm-hmm.
the futuristic design. It was like the talk of the internet.
And then production delays.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So while the tech itself might be impressive,
Right.
investors have heard this song before. They're
Yeah.
probably thinking, show me the robotaxis on the road, navigating rush hour traffic, picking up passengers and turning a profit, then we'll talk.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this Tesla betting the farm on a future where we're all hailing driverless cabs? Or could this Cybercab actually be a clever way to distract from the missing Model 2?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Because if they're serious about mass market appeal,
Right.
they can't ignore that budget-conscious consumer forever.
Okay, so we've got robot taxis coming soon, maybe,
Right.
and radio silence on a more affordable EV.
Right.
What else did Tesla roll out at this event? Because they weren't just going to tease us with driverless rides and call it a day.
Right. They had one more trick up their sleeve.
Okay.
The Robovan.
The Robovan.
Yeah. So
Right.
picture this, a self-driving van
Okay.
zipping around town, delivering packages 1 minute, then like shuttling a family to the airport the next. It's
Yeah.
like they're aiming for a Tesla in every lane,
I see.
from your daily commute to that cross-country road trip.
Okay, now that's interesting. So not just ride sharing, but potentially like taking on the entire logistics industry as well.
Yep.
Let's talk about thinking big. But seriously, isn't that a massive gamble?
Yeah.
I mean, the regulations alone for self-driving delivery vans.
You're hitting on a crucial point.
Yeah.
Regulations are going to be the ultimate roadblock.
Right.
Or should I say road closure?
Yeah.
If Tesla can't convince lawmakers that their tech is safe and reliable,
Right.
imagine the headlines if a Robovan full of groceries has a fender bender,
Oh, yeah.
let alone something more serious.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of PR Tesla needs when they're trying to revolutionize transportation.
Yeah.
But let's get back to that Model 2 for a moment.
Okay.
Because if they are going after the mass market with robotaxis and delivery vans,
Right.
Why not hit them with a more affordable EV at the same time?
Yeah.
It seems like a missed opportunity.
It does, doesn't it? And this is where we kind of have to read between the lines a bit.
Okay.
One theory is that Tesla simply isn't ready to compromise on their profit margins just yet.
Okay.
Remember, they're still relatively new to the mass production game.
Right.
And building a cheaper EV without sacrificing quality or profitability is a massive challenge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype of robot taxis and self-driving vans.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Tesla's still a business, and they've got investors to answer to.
Exactly. And speaking of investors, let's not forget that Tesla's Q3 earnings report is just around the corner on October 23rd.
Okay.
That might give us some more insight into their thinking.
Okay.
Are they prioritizing high-margin vehicles like the Cybertruck and Cybercab for now?
Okay.
Or do they have a secret weapon?
Right.
Maybe even a Model 2 prototype hidden away, ready to unveil when the time is right.
Okay, so we're left with more questions than answers.
Right.
Which I have to say is a very Tesla way to end things.
Yeah.
But for our listeners who are eager to get behind the wheel of a Tesla without taking out a second mortgage,
Right.
what's the takeaway here?
Yeah.
Should they hold out hope for a more affordable option?
Yeah.
Or accept that Tesla's sticking to its luxury lane for the foreseeable future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Maybe.
There's no easy answer.
Yeah.
On the one hand, Tesla's clearly focused on pushing the boundaries of what's possible with autonomous driving and electric vehicles.
Right.
These are long-term bets.
Yeah.
And a more affordable EV might not fit into that strategy right now.
Okay. So it sounds like we're kind of stuck in this weird limbo where Tesla's like pushing the limits of what's technologically possible,
Right.
but also potentially pricing out like a huge chunk of potential customers.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Is this sustainable in the long run?
Well, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Tesla's walking a tightrope here.
Okay.
They've built this incredibly loyal fan base by offering cutting-edge tech and a touch of exclusivity.
Right.
But to truly dominate the auto industry,
Yeah.
they'll need to crack the code on affordability without sacrificing their brand identity.
Right.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Only time will tell if they can pull it off.
It's interesting, though, because even without a Model 2 announcement, this We Robot event still had a huge impact. I mean, it's got everyone talking about the future of transportation and whether Tesla's the one leading the charge.
Absolutely. This wasn't just about unveiling new vehicles.
Right.
It was about painting a picture of a world transformed by AI and automation.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
Robotaxis, navigating city streets, self-driving vans, delivering everything from packages to pizzas.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, a future where car ownership is optional rather than a necessity.
Okay, now you're tapping into the sci-fi fan in me. But seriously, it's both exciting and a little bit unsettling to imagine how quickly things could change.
Exactly. And that's what makes Tesla such a fascinating case study.
Right.
They're not just disrupting the auto industry, they're forcing us to confront some pretty big questions about the role technology will play in our lives.
Yeah, for sure. So for our listeners who are trying to wrap their heads around all of this, what's the key takeaway? What's the one thing you want them to remember from this deep dive?
I think the most important thing to remember is that Tesla is playing a different game than everyone else.
Okay.
They're not afraid to make big, risky bets, even if those bets take years, even decades to pay off.
Right.
Whether they succeed or fail, their impact on the future of transportation is undeniable.
Well said. And for anyone who thought electric cars were the finish line for Tesla, think again, this We Robot event just proved that they're just getting started. And frankly, I can't wait to see what crazy, innovative, and maybe even slightly terrifying thing they come up with next. Until then, keep your eyes on the road and maybe keep a spare charger handy, because the future of driving is electric, autonomous, and coming sooner than you might think.